Thank you. Thank you very much. So, this is a quite hard exercise I have with you because it's not a conference, it's supposed to be a workshop. So, I prepare my presentation in a quite special way. I don't want to give you answer, but I will share with you all my questions and the way I find out my own answer. That's why I work in the opera, and you all came from different kind of sectors, from music, contemporary music, that I cannot know so well as you know. So the first thing is that I will ask you to feel like an alien which arrive on this earth, and I will try to explain you the way we live and what we are actually, the big problem we are actually faced on about sustainability, okay? So the first part will be a little bit strange for you aliens because you won't understand why we are acting this way, and we needed to make a step back, have a very large point of view about situation and things, and have also the good dimensions of things, because sometimes when we speak about sustainability, we just speak about recycling and waste or energy, but this is not the problem, definitely. So I just tried to give you my point of view, what I understand, writing the general sustainability roadmap for the Paris Opera. I precise that I'm not anymore in the Paris Opera, but I love so much this job that I decided to create my own agency to do this kind of approach to other culture sector. And especially I'm working on a project that I will try to share with you. So, the question is, I will share with you all my questions. I keep my notes because otherwise I speak too much and I need a guideline, you know. And also I'm Italian. I prepare it in French and I translate it in English. So my brain is a little bit confused, but you all are aliens, so you can understand sometimes when we are a little bit in a different situations. What I would like to share with you is how full, how completely crazy we are on Earth. Because most of the time, I think that people on Earth does not really understand what we are doing and what we have to face, the huge problem. So there is a tool which is very nice for us, people who live on Earth, is the climate fresque, is a French serious game, which came from IPCC report. And on the first step, you just discover all of these. And then the second step, you try to understand relationship in between all of these. And when you understand relationships, you understand, like me, that we don't have a lot of time. Because the principal risk for us is this one, you know, is the war. So we are crazy, I know. We made a war in between us. I know you're aliens, you cannot understand why. Me too. So, the most consequence of the climate change we don't see You are actually here with me in Berlin. It's fantastic. It's the sun outside. Everything is beautiful. But some place in the world is not so beautiful. We just hide everything. And we are not paying about our way of life. So we have a little problem. For example, I just introduce you this fantastic work of an artist, Dylan Marsh, which represent, for example, what we are able to do to extract diamonds. So in this picture, you can see the big hole and the amount of diamond we produce. So you maybe don't see the diamond because we needed to zoom in it. It is here, so I came back. So you can see there, okay, we made a huge, fantastic hole just to have a diamond. We are so funny. And this is always the work of Dylan Marsh, and this is for copper, because we realize we have a little problem with the climate change, so we decided that we have to create electric cars for everyone. But to do that, we need copper. And so we made the huge hole to extract copper. But it's not the only thing, of course. The most funny thing for me is that we spend a lot of energy, a lot of water, and a lot of cyanuro to extract gold. And this is actually the most powerful, important reference of luxury for all of us, okay? And the most stupid things we are able to do, that we spend a lot of energy, a lot of water, drinkable water, and somehow we always put someone outside this kind of country to get the gold and to contract that gold in little boxes, and we put it under the underground. So, and this is actually our way we consider richness and luxury. This is completely stupid. You agree? So, and because we are not at the end of our stupidity, we're still working, actually. We know that we have problems, so we decided that we have to create some sculpture and send them into the moon, because it's funny. And to create a special, fantastic virtual universe, because our actually universe is somehow in some difficulty. And the best, which came yesterday, is that we decide to make new Winter Olympic game in the middle of the desert. This is for real. We decided yesterday. So it's you know, you're aliens, so you cannot understand this for the Earth. And also, somehow we understand that finally we have some problems here, but the way we try to solve it is with geoengineering and to put someone outside the atmosphere to reduce the power of the sun. So we will need raw materials, we will need energy, but it's a secondary problem, so we don't care about how we will do it. And also, we still don't understand that this is not the principal problem, because our problem is that we do all our effort to transform nature into a toxic waste. This is our problem. It's not about energy. If tomorrow we will have enough energy, green energy, we will go faster to the destroy. So The problem is about our society and the way we live and what we dream. So, you are alien, I remember you. And we should ask ourselves why we are still not concerned about climate change. Why? So, the important point for me is about imagination. Which kind of imagination, which kind of society we would like to figure out. And you can discover something really interesting. I don't know if every one of you knows about the musical Air, but in 1970s, when we have United States was in a war, Vietnam War, everyone has tried to convince the society and the United States to go against this war, but nothing was efficient until the day some artists create Hair, the musical. And it was so powerful about joy, and the history was so powerful, which has had a straight impact into the society. And sometimes dreams become reality, like you can see Volodymyr Zelensky, which was an actor and then became the president of Ukraine. So we have a problem in our mind about what success is and what the progress is. Because our vision of a progress is that we need to have a lot of things that we just use few moments and then become a trash. So is this the progress we want? So I know that actually many young people, you, me, we are here because we are concerned about this problem and we try to figure out solutions. The problem is that, not you, you are aliens, but the problem is that we actually are in a totally cognitive dissonance about what we know and what we do. And what about the emotions that ecological speech do produce into our soul? What's happening? Why it does not work? There are someone who study a lot about this, is Thierry Libert. He's a French guy who wrote a book about why ecology speech does not work into society and what should we do to transform our society. And it's not the only one. There are many specialists about solutions, which actually in France, but I think all over the world, will tell you that the solution is the new history, the new narrative. So what is narrative? And does this problem concern really everyone? There is a fantastic study about the science confirmed that rich people does not care about that. So we have a problem because 10% of the richest people in the world are who has the most important impact into the world. So I decide I need to speak to them. So what culture actually is doing? So this is what my approach in the Paris Opera. What they asked me is just to reduce the negative impact. What they just asked me about that. But what I think that first thing, we don't have to reduce our direct negative impact. Not only the amount of water we consume inside, but also the indirect consumption of water, the indirect consumption on energy and everything. So that's changed completely because you cannot calculate for your own advantage, okay? But it will be much more efficient if in all the culture sector, everyone will be just allowed to eat vegan, because it does not change the quality of the show, the performance you will produce, but it will have a strong impact to reduce the carbon footprint somehow, and to reduce also the consumption of forest and everything. So we need to reduce the indirect negative impact. But is it the only thing we can do? I think we have to define a positive impact strategy. But what is it? So what about emotions? What about what we feel? How can we what kind of emotion can provoke a deep change in the society? I asked this question to economists. So the economists answer me that the only way to change is to force the society to change. I think we have, of course, some kind of emotion which can push everyone to change. This is hate, rage, injustice, anger, but I don't like these kind of solutions. Because I think that everyone here has already fallen in love once. And when you fall in love, you can change everything in your life, despite the difficulty you can have to pass through. So I think that we need hope, we need love, we need joy, and we need fun. Because you are alien and you understand that our situation is somehow funny because it's completely crazy. So this is why I'm looking for this kind of solution. What about eco-anxiety? What kind of feeling you can have if you think about all the disaster I just described to you? You can say, okay, it's too late. We don't have anything to do. Just let's fly away. Let's drink. Let's eat everything. Let's dress. Let's buy everything. This is the feeling about eco-anxiety. And we have to be very aware about this, because this is a way to just going to keep our life this way. We don't have to do, and it's too late to change everything, someone. So, in the same time, what's happening in your mind when I say you the word opera? Opera, what does it happen in your mind? Sometimes people can see something like this. Is the beauty, is something magic, is something incredible, special moment where you don't have the phone ringing, we don't have any distraction. So this is a superpower for me. This is the power about imagination. Because, of course, I work in the opera during 25 years, and I can assure you, it's not so magic when you are behind the scene. But anyway, you are an alien, so you can just desire to live in some special moment. And this is the emotion I want to share with you. And that's why I'm working on a project. Two reasons is because I work into the opera during 25 years. The second is that the audience of the opera is the richest in the world. So I need to speak with them. Because we need to completely change the way we produce, think, we live, we dream, everything. So what I can imagine is something about in between a TED talk, but also an Oscar ceremony with someone very funny, because we need funny, but also some specialist which will in the talk explain what's happening, but not just saying you, okay, everything is a disaster. Give you also the key to transform and give you the joy and give you the hope with music, with dance, with poetry, with beauty, and with humor, because we need it. It's not just about the way to speaking about climate change, but the way the message can reach you. You know, one of the most efficient things we have saw in the last year was Don't Look Up. It's a funny movie which is speaking about how we can destroy the planet. But in this funny way, we can understand that the risk is concrete, is actually very strong. So this is a gift for you. I translate it in German. From yesterday they decided to create the Winter Olympic Games into the desert. So I think we can imagine and figure out to create next summer Olympic Games into Antarctica. And they say, okay, we calculate with only 8,000 million megawatt. It's fine, we can do it. So where do I want to do it? All over the world, because a dream, you dream alone is just a dream. And I'm here because a dream that I share with you and we made together will become reality. So thank you. So it's quite strange planet you discover. So I don't know if you have questions. I give you many questions because we are here just to try to figure out solution, but it's not easy to figure out solution because sometimes we risk to spend a lot of energy to find solution which won't have a real strong impact into the society. But we have this strong power, superpower, about let people and the society to dream about another kind of society. And only artists can do it, not an economist. It's not able. So, do you have some questions?
I'm sorry. Thanks a lot, Valentina. My name's Ralf. Thanks a lot for the inspiration and the emotion and the way looking to the positive impact of culture, this side. And my simple question is your project. You didn't talk a lot about your project, just to tell us more what you're planning, what you're doing, what it is about.
So the project I'm working on is a project to into the opera to speak about ecology to the audience of the opera. Why? Because they don't care about that. So it's quite complicated exercise because I needed to find out the way to use humor to let some message pass and use some artists to let them the emotion get through. I started to think about this project when I was in the Paris Opera, because I was supposed to create a conference to the entire audience of people who are working in the opera. And I say, okay, I cannot explain them. It's maybe better if someone outside, which come out from outside, will explain the scientific point of view. I'm not a scientist. So I needed that someone can arrive with very technical point, but in a very funny way to explain very quickly, directly, straight, to explain things in a very efficient way. And I did not wish it to be this person, because I cannot represent everything. So I met many people, a neuroscientist. Why? Because I'm asking me, why does it not working actually? What's happening in our brain? What's the point we are looking? So there is a neuroscientist reason why we're still eating meat. Does it has a link with the virility for men? And why don't we evaluate to a new society? So I also contact an activist, a young activist, which is working in with arts and music, because she say we needed to speak to entire society and generation, not only my generation, but also oldest people. And we needed to do this change together, because we needed to dream about it. I also was looking for some people who are actually working into how can we dream the future? How can we work with the biomimetism, looking what nature is doing? And this is so interesting to change completely our point of view. And this is the way I approach sustainability. The first thing was just through the question of technical director. I was technical director in Paris Opera. So I just talked about the raw materials and the trash, but I thought this was the principal problem. In the culture sector, the principal problem is the mobility about the audience. How can we solve it without renounce to our activity? So this is a hard question. May we in the Paris Opera renounce to people who will come by plane? It's not possible for us. And if we are just working on the negative impact, we just show we have a negative impact. But when are we working and saying and scry to everyone, we have a huge positive impact. So this was my point of the starting point. So the Paris Opera direction says me, okay, this is interesting. We will work on over, but from in January this year. But we want to work on it with other kind of institution. So I went to the Philharmonic, to other big institution, and each step, someone tell me, okay, this is fantastic idea, but you have this kind of problem, this kind of problem, this kind of problem. So I go away. I still going on. I went to Salzburg, to Barcelona, to Prague, and to Helsinki. And all my journey was by train, only by train. And each step, I imagine something more, which is important for me, the more important sense of luxury for me is the time. The time I can share with my children, the time I can share with my friends. It's not about gold. So we have to change our point of view. And in the same time, what opera is an image of luxury is about jewelry, about gold. So we need to change from deeply inside this kind of institution, because they give us the sense of the society we wish to copy. Where I am actually, I'm starting to do a kind of crash test about this with a workshop like with you today. Because there are many opera which are really interesting about the project. And I have many questions about the way we will speak to the audience. I wanted to do it because it's funny for me. When you act, when we are working into a project, you feel useful. And this is fantastic. And this is this fantastic method against the eco-anxiety. So the project, I hope next year I will be able to say we will do it in this opera. I'm working on creating an association with them in each country, in Germany too, everywhere. But this is my dream.